Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today is the AEM X Series oil pressure. Things are potentially going to be a little bit out of order for these coming videos, since we've got stuff kind of being delivered out of order and we're tuning the car. So I'm not sure when this video is going to go up in comparison to when the closed loop open source tuning video is going to go up. But regardless, we have removed the access port from the car. We're putting the oil pressure in today, and next weekend we're going to put the wideband in and do our open loop MAF scaling, since our closed loop MAF scaling is done, and maybe add a little bit of boost depending on what the injector duty cycle's at. So should be a pretty easy install. Oil pressure gauges are pretty simple. I'm going to use the galley underneath the alternator. I see no reason to use the one in the back. Additionally, I see no reason to keep the stock dummy light. That's basically a "you're fucked" light. So I'm just going to eliminate that and put the X Series oil sensor right in that stock location. So should be pretty easy. Let's get into it. All right, top mount out. Now we can see back there. Yep, you can see that grommet right in the center. That is where we are going to put our new gauge wires through. All right, so we can see I pulled the AOS up a little bit, just had to cut a couple of zip ties. Now we can really see that grommet. I've got some solid core wire here, just a little length. I'm going to use this to poke through, and then once I get it through, I will tie the harness to it so I can use it to pull it through. So this should be pretty easy. Alright, so we are going to cut a tiny slit in the edge of that grommet, and then we'll feed our wire through it. Hopefully I don't block the shot here. Yep, got in. Make sure you guys can see that. Yep. Now we'll just feed this in, kind of pushing it down. We'll see if we can see it on the inside of the car. Don't see anything yet, so I'll keep shoving wire in. Alright guys, and just like that, we've got a small hole in the firewall through the existing grommet. We've got our wire we can use to pull our harness through. So should be good to go. We'll get the harness pulled through, and then we will use a similar technique to get the wire across on the other side to where we're going to mount the pod in the vent. Alright, so this is the stock dummy light, essentially. Unplug that guy. It's 24, I believe. Boy, I hope it's not 24. I hope it's 22. Oh boy. Fifteen, 16 will work. I really don't want to fuck anything up here. I'm going to check the torque spec. Alright, so 17 foot-pounds. You know what else I should do before I get too far ahead is I should do something with... I think we're just going to zip tie it right there. Alright, so we'll do a final wiring once I get it pulled through, but that's how I'm going to pull it through. Wrap that hard wire around the clip. That should be good. Maybe I'll do another couple of wraps just in case. Alright, real quick view of it all finished up. You can barely see it right there. Tucks right behind here. You can see that one zip tie. Comes around. You can see it poking behind right there. Goes under. Ooh, that's hard to get your bearings. Yeah, you can see it goes under. And on this side, yeah, you can see it right there. Between the two, it goes under the main harness. Under the main harness. Alright, so I am going to have to extend the harness to hook up the gauges, and I don't have the proper wire to do that. So we'll have to make a trip to the store tomorrow to grab that stuff and wrap up the interior. Right now we'll put the alternator back in, put the top mount back in, wrap up the under the engine bay stuff. So let's see if I can remember how to put this alternator back in. Alright, we'll hit this guy to 18 as well. Okay, that should all be good. We can do the top mount. I think I do 12. Blow off valve is 12, so I feel like I was doing 12 on everything. It's all the same size bolt. that's it. That's all she wrote for tonight. Tomorrow we will wrap up the interior, get the gauge actually wired, check out the pod. Super stoked. Alright guys, so I could not find new wire to purchase in person anywhere of the correct gauge, so I ordered some off of Amazon last night, thinking that might be the case. It's now 4 o'clock and it has finally arrived. So now that we've got our wire and a right angle mini USB for the Tactrix cable, got something kind of cool brewing for that, so stay tuned. I'm gonna miss the access port screen and logging of those parameters, so hopefully I can come up with a solution for that doesn't suck. Anyway, so we've got our wire. Now we can finally go ahead and extend our harness. Let me show you guys kind of where we're at there. All right. So this is where we ended up with after we pulled it through. Gonna need that again in a minute here. So you can see that we really don't have remotely enough to go all the way over up to the vent. So what a lot of people do is they extend the harness prematurely. I don't like that. We are going to cut the end off, put our new wires on it, run it to the other side, and then cut it to length, and then resolder the connector on. That way we have the perfect amount, and I don't have to go back and cut it again shorter or bundle up a bunch of extra wire elsewhere. The only thing that sucks doing it this way is we have to solder on the floor inside the car. But it's not terrible. So let's get to it. I think I am, let's see, how do I want to do this? Because if I don't run these through on the other side, then I have to try and feed the loom through. And I don't think that's what I want to do. I think I am going to take each color and feed it through from the driver's side. And that way, like I said, we can not mess around and we can have the exact right length. So let's get that done. Alright guys, so here's a quick shot of what that looks like from the driver's side. We've got our 4 wires hooked up. This is pretty stiff yellow wire, so should be strong enough to pull through. Then we'll just go slowly pull it through the other side. Alright. We should be able to just And just like that. Now we've got our 3 wires over on this side. We can hook them up and we will be able to cut our length exactly as we need on the driver's side. So let's oh man, let's get these stripped down. Close up of what that looks like. You can see I did take the piece a little bit too far down the wire. I would have liked it to have been up on the other original casing a bit more, but I think it'll be fine. All right guys, I got the better of myself. I had to come back over here, fix this. Looks way better now. Additionally, there is a bracket up here. See if I can get it. Yeah, this bracket, originally I had the wire going in front of that bracket, so that's why I came over, and since I pulled it through on this side, I was like, I might as well fix that heat shrink. So I'm gonna go ahead and run it around that bracket back through the other side, and we'll wrap this up. All right, so we are back. We've got our wires ran back through. Now, since we're gonna try and see if we can do this the reverse of how we've been doing it and feed this guy up through. Probably not gonna work, but we're gonna give it a try before we undo the thing. Alright guys, so you can see after I was done routing the wires the way I wanted, I also did a little bit of loom, you know, every couple inches. I did a wrap of electrical tape just to keep things nice and tidy. But we did end up with a little bit extra here. We will probably cut off. Let's see if I can get a shot of how this goes. Up and over. Oh, I have no idea. Alright guys, so I got it trimmed up to length, got them joined. Joins aren't quite as pretty as the other side, but they should solder up well. Hopefully I don't get the wires too hot because we are really close to the shrink wrap, so we'll see. Let's get this done. Alright guys, so we've got our harness set up here. Everything's looking good. We got our power run back down. We've got black for our ground, red for our switched positive, and then brown and white our sensor, analog sensor, positive and negative. I'm going to clip those. I might hook them up later so that we can implement fail safes in DieMod, but I'm not set up to do that now. So we're going to cut these to length, get our addifuse and our spade, our ground terminal hooked up, and before we do that though, we'll probably put the gauge in so the wire doesn't fall through. Alright guys, so you have to, I don't know why it doesn't come with a hole there, but this goes all the way into the vent, so there's no place to get the wire through. So I did go ahead and drill a hole there. My bit wasn't big enough, so I had to elongate it and nicked it a little bit, but it's all covered up with the vent pod itself, so not the worst thing, but a little confusing. Alright guys, there is the pod in. I just trimmed some of the glue out. I forgot to record that. Sorry about that. Alright, so I do really like the way that looks, finally. Alright guys, so we're going to run a 10 and then a 7.5. Got our negative. That's terrible. Got our negative crimped on there. We did have to go ahead and get nice Klein Tools a crimper. It's really hard to crimp 20 gauge. This worked quite well. I was really struggling to get that to crimp on there without it. So now we just need to hook up our power. I think I'm just going to solder it. I was considering hooking up like a spade connector, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to solder it. The other thing I did is I took my white and brown and I just ran them back up the wire and zip tied them up there. I'll probably do another zip tie down here, so when I go to run this into the ECU at some point to hook up my fail safes, those have a little bit of length on them. So let's get this positive done real quick and wrap this thing up and give it a try. Alright, so I was trying to avoid taking these panels off, but I just don't think we're gonna get to our ground without doing it. So we're just gonna bite the bullet and we're going to start popping these off. I've had this one off before, very easy. It's this big guy that I have not done before. Putting this screw in the floor tray so when I inevitably lose it. Okay. Yep, that does have a clip. Hey, that was pretty easy. Alright, now we should be able to get our ground on with a 10mm ratchet or 10mm wrench. It was way easier just to pull that panel off than to sit there and mess around. I definitely spent probably 2 to 3 times as much time just messing around trying to do this without removing that panel. Jesus. Oh my God. Ow. Alright, let's bring you guys in, show you the ground real quick. This is definitely kind of a pain to get on there. Should be good. Alright, take you guys in for one last look before we put the negative terminal back on and fire it up. Ow. Alright, so harness is zip tied to that harness. Let's do it. All right. Let's clean everything up, start it, and see if we got oil pressure. All right, it's time for the moment of truth. Does it actually work? Oh, I love it. Very nice. Yeah, and then wide band's gonna go right there. It's gonna be really nice. The access port's cool, and I can't wait to show you guys what I have planned as an access port replacement to monitor like dam and actual coolant temperature and stuff like that. But there's just something really nice about actual gauges. I guess it's race car things, right? So alright guys, well this was a multi-day thing just because I had to take some breaks in between, but regardless, that is the AEM X Series oil pressure install on my 2019 STI. If you have any questions about my install, drop them in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer them. We will be kind of redoing a little bit of this when we do our wideband. I went ahead and picked up some wiring loom, so we will loom the wire going across underneath the dash when we run the wideband wire as well. So that being said, next weekend should be downpipe, wideband. I've got a video of how to get dime mod coming up. I've got a video of closed loop MAF scaling. We'll have an open loop MAF scaling. We've got a ton of content coming. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. That'd be cool. You don't have to, but it'd be cool if you did. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.